Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Murphy. I am the Tennessee Titans writer for the Sports Insanity Network. And welcome to week 3 of the NFL and Thursday night Gridiron. I am joined by this very distinguished panel of analysts. He is the Dallas Cowboys writer, Mr. Mark Halpern, a.k.a. Old Ops Guy.
Good evening, all.
He is the writer for the New York Giants, Mr. Jeffrey Knapp.
Hello.
And he is the New York Jets writer, Mr. Big Brother, Eric Ford. Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
What's up, peoples?
What's up,
Good. How's it going?
It's good. It is going well. And they are also part of the Blitzers, which are doing fantastic work. They write for every team in the NFL. If you want to check them out, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. So, gentlemen, are we ready for another exciting week of NFL football?
I'm always ready for football.
Who isn't? Those people, we just pray for them. Anyway, so tonight's game, we have the Houston Texans and the Carolina Panthers. Now, Houston is coming off a loss last week to Cleveland, and Carolina is coming off a win against the New Orleans Saints. So let's dive right into this, shall we? Let's start with the Carolina Panthers. The first one I really want to begin with is Sam Darnold, the new Carolina Panthers quarterback who just got here from Eric's beloved New York Jets. And and the last 2 weeks, week 1, he threw 24 out of 35 completions, 279 yards. Last week, he threw 26 out of 38 completions, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So how do you think Sam Darnold is looking so far? We're going to start with Mr. Ford.
Hold on 1 second. Being a Jets fan is so tough, bro. Okay, being a Jets fan is so stinking tough. You have no idea. I knew he would do good. Okay, I knew he'd do good in the Panthers because we hired that joke of a coach named Adam Gase. He's terrible, and come on, man. Like, we knew he was going to be good. Yes, everyone is saying, oh, Sam Darnold was at fault. We needed a change quarterback. No, he wasn't. He was good. We just ruined him. And we're ruining Zach Wilson, it looks like. It's just terrible, man. It's being a Jets fan is like being in a toxic relationship, and you just can't go back. You just continue going back to it over and over again. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Tell us how you really feel, Eric.
If you're gonna vent, this is the place.
That's exactly right.
Tell us how you really feel. But anyway, Eric
Johnson, sell the team. Just sell the team, Johnson. Sell the team.
I think Eric might need some therapy.
Every Jets fan needs therapy.
The therapists will be making a lot of money then. Okay, Eric, let me start that question again. How do you think Sam Darnold looks so far as Carolina's new quarterback?
I answered your question, man.
Okay.
He's good.
Okay, this was a really tough
He's thinking
answer.
good, man.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Have you seen the game?
I have.
Looks good. He has protection. He looks like the quarterback he's matured up to be. And we messed him up. He's good. He's good.
Okay, Eric, I'm going to let you collect yourself. Let's go over to Mark.
Well, I understand how Eric feels. You know, me as a Dallas Cowboy fan, I've been let down by quarterbacks over the last few years that I've wanted. Not to stick the knife any deeper into my big brother over there. Sam Darnold is rejuvenated. He's got a team that cares about him, that protects him. You give him Christian McCaffrey, you're giving him DJ Moore, and you're giving him Robbie Anderson, and you got an offensive line that knows what they're doing. Sam Darnold is in a very good relationship with the Carolina Panthers right now. And unlike the Jets ownership, they give a crap about what's going on. Sam Darnold right now, if you had to pick an MVP after 2 weeks, that's it. It's him. Eric, that is no offense to make you upset. That's not where I'm going with this.
All right.
Okay, it's okay.
Jeffrey?
Yeah, he's doing incredibly well right now compared to what he did. I was thinking about the first 2 games of this year compared to the first 2 games of last year. And he's thrown for about 200 yards more, 1 more TD, same amount of interceptions. His quarterback rating is about 20 points higher, but he's been sacked less, only 1 time less than last year. And he has much better weapons. I mean, last year he had, who was it? Frank Gore, who's like 173 at the time. Jamison Crowder, and like those guys, nobody caught anything over 1,000 yards. I think Crowder led the team with about 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. This year he has Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and he has a really good relationship with Robbie, and you could tell. And having somebody like Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield, I think takes the pressure off of him. Plus, he's not dealing with New York pressure, the win now, win this second mentality that as New York fans we see on an everyday basis. I think maybe somewhere, being in Carolina, there's that pressure's off of him as far as the New York media goes, so he doesn't feel it.
Before I get to my next question, and we're going to make this very quick, and I know this is going to stab another knife into Eric's spine here, but did anyone see in week 1 when Darnold threw the touchdown to Robbie Anderson? Robbie Anderson was doing the jet thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good slap in the face to the Jets front office right there.
The Jets front office sucks. I'm sorry to say it like that, but that's what it is. You draft Sam Darnold in the top 10 draft, and you don't do anything to protect him. You don't give him any weapons. No wonder why the guy had shoulder injuries and couldn't do much. Jets fans were cheated.
Okay.
Sell the team, Johnson. Sell the team. That's it.
Listen, we could read about the Jets front office all night, but we got more stuff to cover about this game here.
Yes.
Do you think, just one more thing on Sam Darnold, do you think Matt Rule has something to do with his rejuvenation?
Matt Rule is a very good coach. He's a very offensive-minded coach. He knew what he was getting in Sam Darnold. That's why they signed him, and he knew he can make him good.
Eric?
What he said, whatever.
The old man, yes, the old man.
Jeffrey?
I think he's doing really well under him. He's tapped into this potential that the Jets could not bring out of him for one reason or another.
Yeah. And you know what? And Mark, you and I were talking about this the other day on the Sports Insanity podcast. Shameless plug for that. We talked about how Darnold, the other 2 coaches he had, who were Todd Bowles and Adam Gase, didn't really mold him into a quarterback. But is it fair to say Matt Rule is doing what Bowles and Gase couldn't do?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes, I agree.
Eric?
We have the Texans to talk about. Let's talk about the Texans.
No, we do have another Panthers point coming. Don't worry, no more Jets counterpoints because
We have the Texans to talk about, man. let's talk about the Texans and their mishaps.
Well, first I want to talk about Christian McCaffrey. He is coming off this injury. How do you guys think he's been looking these last 2 weeks since he's came back?
He's being kept active in the offense. Their plan book is built around him, but the difference is now they have a quarterback who can throw the ball and don't have to rely on him for 40 touches a game.
Jeff?
Well, he's actually over the last. I've been trying to look at like what he's done the first 2 games of this year, the first 2 games of last year in 2019. He has more receptions this year and more yardage this year than he has the last 2 seasons. As far as attempts go, he's right on par with the last 2 previous seasons by about between 6 to 10 touches. But he's got 170 yards rushing so far this year, 156 last year, and 165 in 2019. So I think he's back at peak performance. He has the quarterback that, he doesn't have to rely everything on his shoulders. He's got 2 great wide receivers that can take some of that pressure off. But I think he's looking amazing.
Yeah. In the 2 weeks, he's got 21 carries, 98 rushing yards, and 89 receiving yards in week 1. In week 2, he had 24 carries, 72 rush yards, 65 receiving yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 receiving touchdown. So yeah, I think he's getting off to a great start. Again, Eric, your thoughts?
He's back to his old self. He's good.
Yeah. So, and also, I got a very important question for you folks. This is super important. Should I have drafted McCaffrey this year for fantasy?
No, he would have been injured.
That's what happened last year. I had the first pick of the draft.
That's why I just said that.
And I picked him, and I said, you know what? Even though he was on the board, I'm like, I can't, Christian. You broke my heart last year. I can't go through this again. So, yeah. Yeah, but I think McCaffrey's looking really good. I think he's coming back even stronger. He's really just running down the field. I think he's back, as Eric said, back to his old self. Now, how do you think Carolina's defense is doing?
They haven't had a real test of teams. No offense to Eric in the Jets. No offense to anybody who's a Houston Texans fan, whatever. Carolina's defense hasn't gone up against a formidable offense yet. So the ball is out right there. I mean, we'll see what happens when they face Houston tonight, minus JJ Watt, minus all this.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Sorry, Bill, but because I mean, just like the Broncos, how everyone's praising them for being good. They played the bum Giants and they played the bum Jaguars, and they're playing the bum Jets this week. Like, it's the same result. I mean, yeah, the Saints, they have a better offense, but you have Jameis Winston behind center, and we all saw how Jameis Winston was. So again, and you have the Texans. I mean,
Crab Legs has returned in New Orleans.
That's the best way I can say about the Texans.
And before we go to you, Jeff, I agree with you, Eric, because the Panthers defense tonight, they're not really facing a quality offense. Don't worry. We'll get to them in a few minutes. But they're not facing a quality offense tonight. Jeff, what are your thoughts on Carolina's defense?
Well, so far, statistically, they're doing really well, but I can't wait to see how they perform up against a real quality offense. But I mean, maybe they take some of what they've done so far for the last 2 games and bring it tonight, bring it next week, and go from there. I think right now it's a little bit early to tell how great they can, or possibly how average they might be with 2 weeks in. Statistically, though, they are not the number 1 team. but we'll see where that leads over the next 2-3 weeks when they hit better offenses.
I know it's early to start talking about this, but two-part question here. One, do you think this is a playoff-bound team? That's part one. Part two, and this was something Mark and I, again, were talking about on Sports Insanity the other day, are the Carolina Panthers the big threat to Tom Brady and the Bucs in the NFC South? I am going to start with Eric.
No. Brady, Gronk, Fournette, Goodwin, Evans, OJ Howard, Cameron Brate, defense. No. Dominican Sue, JPP, number 45. I can't. Devin White, is it?
Yes.
Devin White. Number 56. I can't think of the names right now, but no.
Okay.
No.
Mark?
To me, it's too early to even say anything yet. Not to take anything away from Matt Rule and the Carolina Panthers. Let's see them play a top 5 team. And if they can prove that test, then yeah, then we can start talking playoffs. But in the good fashion of my friend Mora, playoffs, can't be in the playoffs yet.
Playoffs. Okay, Jeff, what do you think? Jeff, did we lose him?
Yeah, we might have.
Jeff.
Okay, move on.
Okay.
Okay, is he back?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I'm here.
Okay, he's here. Okay, so Jeff, I'll ask the question again. Do you think?
Yes.
Do you think the Carolina Panthers are the big threat to Brady in the NFC South, and do you think they're a playoff-bound team?
Only if it's like old Nickelodeons. You can't do that on television. Opposite sketches. There's not a chance they're going to be a threat to the Buccaneers at all.
Yeah.
Now, will they make the playoffs? Yeah, it's a little early, but I mean, they could be one of the maybe 6 other teams contending for a few playoff spots. You know, with maybe the Rams, maybe the Vikings, the Niners. So we'll see how they all perform.
Okay. So that is with Carolina. I just want to say they have a good team going. Rule is really having a good team. He's really working well with Darnold, and McCaffrey's back and he's kicking you know what. So that's Carolina. Now, for your comedy portion of the evening, we are going to jump into the Houston Texans. So what can we say about Houston at this moment? Like, seriously, what can we say, guys?
Houston Texans are a runaway train without a track. Okay, it's the best way I can describe it. The Watson dilemma is causing problems. They have no clear leaders. Davis Mills is now the quarterback. My boy Tyrod Taylor goes down with a hamstring, and he was leading that team in every category except receiving. Houston is going to be the team that can play as an upset. That's where they're going to be with Davis Mills right now.
So, Eric, what do you think?
Could you come back to me? I got to find something real quick.
Yes. Jeff, what do you think is to say about the Houston Texans?
If Mills is the quarterback for the rest of the season, because I haven't heard personally how bad Tyrod Taylor's hamstring injury is, but let's just say he's out for the season. I don't see them winning more than 2, maybe 3 games. I just
Yeah.
don't see it.
It's a grade 3 strain, so he's out 4 to 6. They're putting him on IR now.
Okay, yeah. So if he's out, if he gets to play for the next, say, 6 games, maybe they win a game. I mean, I don't know enough about David to really say how he can go on throughout the rest of the season. I mean, the offense doesn't personally doesn't do anything for me. So,
Eric, over to you.
So you know it's crazy. The Houston Texans are first in the AFC South.
Yeah.
I mean, they have that going for them, but yeah, it's that thing is a hot mess. Speaking of bad ownership, Cal McNair and the McNairs, they are terrible, terrible. TRUTURW or whatever Charles Barkley spells it. Terrible organization. You have the Deshaun Watson scenario, which that is a whole another scenario on itself. You have so many different running backs, like Rex Burkhead, Mark Ingram, David Johnson, Philip Lindsay. You have Malcolm Smith, Joyner Smith's son, Brandon Cooks. The only reason I say that was because Malcolm knocked Brandon Cooks out in the Super Bowl 52, which was hilarious, by the way. So I had to say that. You had Chris Conley, and I forgot he was even playing Danny Amendola. And a defense that is mediocre at best. This team is a mess. Okay, this team is garbage. This team is a hot mess. And poor Tyrod Taylor, man. I really, really, really feel bad for him. He never really truly got a good shot in the NFL. I mean, he led the Bills to the playoffs, and then I think the year after that, he got let go of for Josh Allen, and then he played a game for the Browns and got replaced by Baker, and then played a game for the Chargers. His lung ruptured, and Justin Herbert replaced him. I actually saw a theory on TikTok, actually, so I mean, don't credit me on that one, where all those quarterbacks end up being good. So who knows what David Mills is going to be? He could be good, or he could be trash. So who knows?
Well, I just want to say it looks like Tyrod Taylor is always the bridesmaid and never the bride. So let's talk about Davis Mills. What do you think the expectations of Mr. Mills are? Before we get into broader discussion here, I just would like to throw a few stats from last week. Last week, he threw for 102 yards, 1 touchdown, 8 out of 18 completions, and a 10.9 QBR. Like, what do you think the expectations are?
I think for right now, Houston is putting a Band-Aid on a very, very bad leak. Davis Mills is not going to do well running this team. Not to put him down, I'm sure. I mean, to be in the NFL, you have to be able to do something. But there's nothing left in Houston to even salvage. You got 3 running backs all capable of doing stuff, but they rarely use them. Wide receivers are not as good. You traded away D-Hop. The Deshaun Watson mess doesn't make it easier. So, I mean, Davis Mills, he is just going to be in there to just fill out the season. They'll have to make moves for the draft and off season.
Jeffrey?
It's like what was asked of Noah. How long can you tread water? I mean, Brandon Cooks, he's a really good receiver. Is he going to be able to get the ball? And they can't just rely on him. The running backs, David Johnson isn't performing the way he did when he was in Arizona. It's just going to be a car crash. I feel bad for the people of Houston.
Yeah, well, when you also look at it, David Johnson hasn't been the same since he got injured in his final year with the Cardinals. It's that injury took the whole life out of him.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. Eric, what do you think?
So I want you to so you're in a building, go on the bottom floor and go bottom of that and bottom of that, reach China and go on the bottom of China. That's the expectations of Davis Mills. Okay, he has such a low expectancy that he could throw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, be freaking 30 for 30. They're 30 complete 30 of his passes, and that'd be good. Or he could literally do 100 yards, 3 interceptions. That's his expectations are so low. It's low.
So it's like really go into the bottom of the basement of not below the basement of a building, basically.
Below the building, below the fountain. No, below the
Below
earth's
the fountain.
core. That's how low. Okay.
Below the fountain. So it's real. So that's how much expectations you have for Davis Mills.
He's not an NFL quarterback yet, in my opinion.
Do you think maybe it's fair to say give him some time?
What other choice do they have?
They're probably going to be, if Davis Mills really bombs them this week, do you think maybe a Mr. Newton might be in thought?
You're going to bring in Cam Newton into this mess? If he's smart, he'll stay away.
What do you, Jeff? What do you think if the Texans possibly bringing in Cam Newton?
I think it would be laughable. I can't see them doing it, but anything is possible. But I don't see them doing it. There's nobody out there for them to take. There's nobody in the free agent market worthwhile to take. But I think they'll be staying with Mr. Mills.
Eric,
who has no expectations at all.
Eric.
So if I was Cam Newton and the Texans offered me a spot on the team, this would be my reaction. I would rather put all of my money on the Vikings to win a game-winning kick than to play for your organization. I would rather trust in the Dallas Cowboys to catch a clutch pass than to win a than to sign to your organization. I would rather have the Giants to take a group picture on a boat and play good again and beat the Packers on a divisional game and have them win and put all my money on them than play for your organization. I would rather put all my money on the Atlanta Falcons to not blow the lead and win than to play for your organization. That's why I say that.
Very descriptive, my friend. Very descriptive. Again, tell us how you really feel, Eric.
I would rather. I got a list, bro. I can go
God, he's got a big long list. Erica, do me a favor. Can you write a book with that big list, please? I want to read it now.
Not for sale.
Okay. Our one last Texans question here. As Eric brought up, they're actually tied for first in the AFC South with the Titans. Are they?
If you ask that, don't even ask that. Don't even ask if they would have a shot. No,
are they actually better than we thought, or is the AFC South just a bad division? We're going to start with Mr. Halpern on this one.
Mark? I yield my time on the floor to my big brother right now.
Okay, even better.
No, come on, man. No, it's 2 games. It just started. No, No, man. Come on, man. No. They had one good game, and it was against the Jags. Come on, man. No, man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
You got everything out now, Eric?
I said what I had to say.
Okay. Jeff?
Yeah, I think the Giants have a better chance of winning that division than they do at the, and they're not even in that division.
Right.
Sad, but true.
Yeah.
That division, it is what it is. There's no way Houston's making it to the playoffs. I can tell you that right now, unless a miracle happens and every team loses all their starters and they all got to get replacement players. That's the only way Houston's going anywhere this year. No running backs. Their receivers are not that as good. Their quarterback isn't a top quarterback. So I feel bad for the Houston fans. You get the cheating scandal with the Astros, and then you got to deal with this crap.
Our condolences to the great city of Houston. I'm sure the folks there are lovely. But you know what? I have a fun question now. Jeff, you brought up the Giants. I'm going to let you kick this one off here.
Okay.
What division's worse, the AFC South or the NFC East?
I probably the AFC South, just because maybe because I have some love for the rivalries that I've watched over the years between the Giants and the Redskins, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. So it's at least for me. It's a more fun division to watch
because every game goes in that division that's played is always a hard fought game.
Yeah, like when the Giants somehow lost that game in Washington, I'm still not over that game.
Eric, what division you think is worse, the AFC South or the NFC East?
Yes.
Which one?
Oh, which one's worse? Yes. Yes, that's the answer. Well, you see, one has talent that hasn't reached it for potential, and the other doesn't even have a name for a football team. NFC East. Yeah.
To me, I'm kind of with you and Mark on this bias, Jeff. I don't know why I almost called you Jared. You're not a jewelry store.
Nope.
He went to Jared. But anyway, he went to Jeff. Anyway, to me, because I'm a Giants fan, and I have that bias because, like you said, I enjoy watching the Giants play the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Washington football team. Please come up with a damn name, please. And also with the other rivalries in there. So I grew up on that. But the AFC South, it's like what you have Jacksonville, who is Trevor Lawrence is getting off to a meh start. And, everyone knows my thoughts on them hiring Urban Meyer, but go listen to that on the podcast. And, excuse me. And also just the mess that's going on in Houston. I got to say the AFC South. Okay, so gentlemen, what are your predictions for tonight's game? We're going to start with Mr. Big Brother 4.
Well, I'm going to just say this. No one cares about this game except for Texans and Panthers fans. Nobody cares about this game. This game is a boring matchup. I mean, no one seems to care, but at the end of the day, it's still football. So, I mean, hey, we get what we can get. Second off, you have the Panthers coming off 2 big wins. And I think this streak will continue. I'm my early prediction, the Rams are playing the the Buccaneers this week. So I'm expecting, and I'm expecting the Rams to win, honestly, on that game. But don't bring that up. That's all your prediction. Don't bring it up. It's just going to highlight my point here. By the end of this week, the Panthers will be first place in the NFC South. My prediction is the Panthers are going to win, but I do think for some reason I think it's going to be a tight game. So I'm picking. I think score will be 16-14. Yeah, 16, 17, 14, 16, 14. I know it's a weird score, but it's either going to be a very low scoring but close game or a high scoring close game. So one of the two.
Okay, Jeffrey.
So this game is, for me, it's not the most exciting game on the calendar this week. It's Thursday, and without giving me some real excitement in a game, I'll probably be flipping back and forth between this and like Impact Wrestling. So, but I know I feel that the Panthers are going to win tonight. It'll probably be, I think they have a shot at maybe 27-10, 24-10.
Okay. Mark, what's your prediction for tonight's game?
For tonight's game, I have Carolina 42, Houston 3.
42-3.
Yeah.
You got a blowout, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay. My prediction, I think it's going to be Carolina 27, Houston 10. I'm being a little more generous tonight, Mark. Okay, so those are predictions for the game. It is time now, my friends, for the 2-minute warning. Okay, I am putting 2 minutes on the clock, just rapid fire answers. Here we go. What was your biggest surprise last week, Jeff?
The Titans beating the Seahawks in Seattle, being down 24-9 at halftime.
Mark.
Minnesota, Arizona. What a game, but hats off to Arizona for holding it off.
Eric.
Lamar Jackson going for it on fourth down. And John Harbaugh, that is a gutsy call. Gutsy. Yeah, but good result.
My biggest surprise from last week, I'm actually agree with Jeff, the Titans coming back from 24-9 at halftime. What 0-2 team you think has the best shot at the playoffs? Mark.
Best 0-2 team for the playoffs. If they can get their act together, the Giants could have a shot.
Jeff.
I was going back and forth earlier on this, going between either the Vikings or the Colts, depending upon Carson Wentz staying healthy. That was and the defense is, at least for Minnesota, picking it up a bit.
So, okay, Eric.
The Jets, but then I turned off my PlayStation 4. So I'm going with the Vikings.
To me, I'm going to agree with Eric and Mark. I'm going to say either the Giants or the Vikings. Okay, what is the game on Sunday you are looking forward to the most, Eric?
Said earlier, the Bucks and the Rams. That might be an NFC playoff preview.
Jeff.
Well, of course, the Giants game I'm excited for. But I'll probably go back and forth between that and the Saints Patriots game at 1. Then at 4, I'm going to try and watch the Rams Bucks game.
Mark.
I can always say the Cowboys day in and day out, but actually the KC Chargers game, I think, is going to be a air battle.
To me, I'm going to say my beloved New York Giants, and I'm going to say Saints and Patriots, just like what Jeff said. All right, folks, so we are out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Bill Murphy, the Tennessee Titans writer for Sports Insanity Network. I'd like to thank my distinguished panel today. Jets writer, Mr. Eric Ford, a.k.a. Big Brother. Giants writer, Mr. Jeff Knapp. And Cowboys writer, Mr. Mark Old Ops Guy Halpern. And you want to check out the Blitzers and our great podcasting content, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Also, don't forget to check out the Sunday Sideline Report, which will this Sunday be hosted by our very own Old Ops Guy. That is Sunday at 10:15 here on YouTube. So from all of us here, thank you for watching. We will see you next week. Stay safe, take care, and enjoy.